feel like that speaks to, whether we're talking about what we've been seeding and what is ready to be birthed into bloom, or we're talking about autumn and what is going to be harvested. There is an abundance, right? There's an abundance of energies that are coming in no matter where you are in the world that we can really tap into because there's much of it, and this energy of using those things like these, all the experiences that we had through all of those interactions with relationships. We were gathering tools and information and experiences that, even if it does feel a little bit like coming around again through these things, like, oh, really? We're still talking about these relationships, but we're here with a lot of that abundance of resources. I feel that we're coming in with that we're able to reapply, in a new way that we can see what we have learned. The light is shining on, really what we came through that has brought us here to this point.
Like this continuous opportunity for rebirth. It doesn't matter where you are, it doesn't matter who you are. So for us here in the northern hemisphere, it is the spring, which is the rebirth of the nature. But there is always the rebirth happening, and it's like so. It is so significant that this card, what it represents, is that there is an energy that got birthed in like last hunter season in October last year when it was the new moon in Libra, and now we see the illumination of this. And for some people, this will be the fall, people in the southern hemisphere, and then it will switch again when the cycle will end. So we are like in a midpoint, but a lot of people think the full moon, that's it. It's new moon, full moon, that's it. But actually, full moon is the midpoint because it's 180 degrees. The cycle will fully end when there is a new moon, because that's when the moon goes into void and then it's being reborn. So the card, this is literally what it symbolizes to me in a visionary expression, that there is always the new moon, full moon, the conception and the illumination, and now we are in a midpoint, which we might feel that something is ending, but actually something is being illuminated for adjustment, because there is always this new energy being reborn, even though it's not being concepted, but there is an opportunity to bring balance to it, so it feels like something new before it is dissolved into what is no longer needed, the void.
I think it does speak to, yes, there's these rhythms and natural cycles that we move through and we look to, but also it's just kind of reminding me of like, okay, it's a full moon, but we want to be thinking about what are we releasing and shedding and letting go, but also it's spring and rebirth, or we're in a place where we're thinking about what we're seeding and what new we want to bring in, all the while releasing and shedding and creating space. So it is sort of like this energy of of tapping into whatever, where we're feeling guided at this time, because there's an abundance. No matter what, there's a lot abundance, like we have so much to tap into, but that could also feel overwhelming. Where to begin, where to begin? Or if, some people really are having a surge of, even in Pisces season, of just, the dreams and the imagination, the ideas coming up, all of these things that bubbled up. And now just like things coming in rapid fire, that it might be taking a moment to sort of, gather up all of those things and put them into practice. I like to say in Aries season, get your rams in a row. Get your rams in a row, line it all up. We don't want to just go in there and bash our horns into everything. So there's this energy of like using what we have, but using it wisely.
But the other thing I wanted to say about that is that that's literally what this, like you said, that get your rams in a row before, like, we jump, or something. And that's what this Mars in Pisces reminds me of, because even though we are in Aries season, I really feel that this Mars, it's still in Aquarius when we're recording this, but I really feel this Mars in Aries and Mars in Pisces energy, because it's like, it is a goal, but I don't feel it's a physical goal. I feel it's that visualize it, be sure first. It's like this, like get your arms in a row. It has to be, like how they said, we have to see it before. Like you need to believe it before you see it. Yeah. So it's like you need to create it in your vision. You need to tap into the energy before you see it manifested, which is why I feel that this Mars is one sign behind. It's one sign behind now. So when everybody will be in Taurus, that's when Mars will be in Aries, because it's like, everything is one house removes to start from the spirit. So we start from the spirit, we have the fire of inspiration, and then we put it into manifestation. But it didn't start it from the earth fire, it started from the spirit.
So I always see this, the hanged man, about being stuck in this pause, whether it's an intentional pause or, things being flipped upside down or feeling stuck, however we're experiencing this hanged man moment. It's an opportunity for us to see something that we didn't see before, from a different angle, from a different perspective, kind of like, turned upside down turn that crown upside down, right? Hanging upside down and seeing it from all these angles. And I've always seen these different seasons of her as these different versions of us, whether it's your past self, your future self, right here in the center, I'm conscious here in this moment. I'm aware of what's past. I don't know yet what's to come. So what all is informing me here with each of these seasons being represented, these different places? And we can see that the rainbow is coming in through the crown, because that's what it shows us, is that in that pause, in that in-between moment, is when some of the greatest awarenesses and ahas can come in, and it's one of the phrases I got when we were looking at this Hunter's Moon card, and then you went and said the other word. I was like, oh, that's the other thing I was going to say. Hunting and gathering is what I was feeling, like hunting and gathering. So it's like all of the things that we're actively pursuing and going after and hunting down, like clarity on what's my purpose, what should I do, all the things that we're looking to move forward into the future. But also we're talking about gathering up all of the gold, all of the goods, the resources of what we've learned, the abundance that we have from all of those experiences from every season that have influenced and created an awareness that we now have that maybe is here, but we weren't in touch with it. Like we were out of touch because of all of this movement, that this pause, this intentional pause or this forced pause, if you're feeling like something was delayed or held up, and that kind of starts to get into that Five of Pentacles too, is feeling like a door was closed or it didn't open or there's some kind of setback or something. There's something in there that's coming in that's going to help as a key to what comes next, where to from here.
Well, this observe card, what is really representing to me is that based on everything that we've learned until this point, all the information we gathered, how can we look at it differently? Which is about the choice. Like now, because this is literally what I've been talking about in this eclipse video, we have a total manifestation of everything that came before regarding our relationships, our realities, our everyday experience, this feedback mechanism. We put it out there and now we get in our information back. Like, yeah, we make choices, we connect, and now based on how everything is playing out, how these other people are behaving, we're learning, we gathering information, right? So I really feel with this hanged man, it's about, okay, now you know how things were, because the brain is an archive of the past. It only knows what already happened. It recorded the memories. So now you know how can you perhaps perceive things differently to create a different outcome. So with the hanged man, I know people say traditionally it's about delays, but I feel in this case, it's really inviting us to look at things from the higher perspective, the spiritual perspective, at the same time hold the human, because that's why I feel it's also this 4th season. Everything is cyclical, everything is called its place and its meaning and purpose. But how can we start identifying things in a different way? Look at them differently, upside down.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and I totally agree. Like flip it upside down, see it from different angles, and again, and just observe. So do so from a neutral perspective, as detached as possible. No judgment, right? No criticism of the aspects of you who didn't know then. A lot of times I'll say with this card, like, we can all recall a time in the past where our past self was maybe really worried about something, concerned, we didn't know what was going to happen or how that thing was going to turn out. That standing here today as my conscious self, I know what happened. I know the story. I know the beginning, the middle, the end of that situation. So likewise, can I tap into an aspect of myself, my higher self or my future self, who knows about something that I'm here feeling? Maybe I do feel stuck, or maybe I do have this perception of, in clarity in some way. How can I tap into an aspect of myself that already knows about this, and use those past experiences as a teacher for the fact that I can look back and say woulda, coulda, shoulda, and how I would have handled it differently, or how much time I wasted worrying about something that ended up being a nothing, or whatever it is, you know, in order to sort of just be present here in this moment, sitting with whatever it is and observing it. But again, we're gathering from all of these resources that we already have within us. This is all us right here. So it's not even about someone else holding us there, you know, or keeping us held there. We're here in this moment, receiving this information, this energy that's coming in. Be open to just observe and allow to receive that, and kind of allowing each of these different aspects of self to inform, so that we can make the choice and set out, you know, from here.